welcome and thank you so much for joining me, Alyssa Arundell, for your April 2021 tarot card reading. For this month, we're going to pull 3 tarot cards to look into the personal development side of what this month can offer. And then we're going to pull an oracle card to just explore that more spiritual side of what may be happening. But this is a general reading and I hope that you do get something from it. But if you would like to reach out for your personal one-to-one consultation with me, I'd be honored to work with you, and I'll leave that info in the description box down beneath this video, as well as your free 3-card tarot reading if you would like to explore that. But without further ado, let's get into this month and see what the cards hold for you. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your April 2021 tarot card reading. Let's see what is on the cards for you then this month, lovely Aquarius. So the first card that comes up for you for the beginning of the month, Aquarius, is the 7 of Cups. You guys have got some choices to make, and I think they might be quite difficult choices. Difficult in the fact that there are a few different options that you really want. The great thing about this card, and for me, it is kind of a mirror image of the 8 of Swords, where the 8 of Swords is where you have no choice, no trust even, and you feel like you're completely trapped in a situation. Whereas the 7 of Cups is the opposite. There are so many choices and there are so many ways out that it kind of becomes a little bit overwhelming to know exactly what you want. I think one of the ways to maybe deal with this, Aquarius, is to just pick off, a pro and cons list of each option. Or if it's not just to do with one specific thing and it's a number of different avenues that you want to explore. Say, for example, this cup represents a new home, a relationship, your career, a new business, a new fitness regime, the way you want to decorate your home, the colour you want your hair, all these things, all these options and opportunities that you're toying with. Just pick off one by one and do it very slowly. These opportunities are not going to be missed just because you don't make a snap decision. A decision will have to be made eventually and a choice will have to be made. But I think you can do this by weighing up all your options. The other thing to note as well with this card, Aquarius, is are you setting the standard too high? Are you setting your bar too high to where something becomes unattainable or unachievable? Because when any of us do that, it can lead to disappointment. If you're setting yourself these targets, first of all, enjoy the exercise that you're doing. But if you do want to attain things, make sure you're trying to attain things that you know are within your reach for the level that you're at. Otherwise, we set ourselves up for failure and that can leave us disheartened and we quit before we've even begun. So that's just something to bear in mind for the start of the month there, Aquarius. Now, as we move into the middle of April, the card that comes up for you is the Knight of Swords. I love it when this guy makes an appearance. It's quite fast moving. It's quite pointed. Swords represent our thought, and swords also represent just that clarity of getting to the truth of a matter. Knights generally represent messages. So what does this mean when we put all this together? Well, it means that by the middle of the month, I feel that you will have a growing sense of confidence, a growing sense of intellect and analysis for your situation. You may feel that you have to be frank with somebody, and you may also feel a little bit impatient to get things going. Knights do generally represent the extremes of a suit, and this is an extremely individual person. So if it does represent a person coming into your life, just keep your eye out for someone who enters your world who is very intellectually sharp and shiny, and refreshingly honest. They may deliver some information without tact, but you know that you can rely on them for honest guidance and honest support. I do also feel that this month, Aquarius, that a little bit of diplomacy will serve you very well, rather than going into a situation with buckets full of bluster, You will have a growing sense of charisma and charm, I feel, this month. And this makes people want to follow you, want to, really listen to what you've got to say. So in terms of your career, I think that this is a really optimistic card to come up for you. Because people are listening to what you say, Aquarius, it's important that you need to ensure that you use your words carefully, because people will take to heart what you are saying. In a relationship, you may come across a new love interest, or your current partner might be being a little bit too demanding on you this month. And if you do feel like that, by all means push back on it, but try and come at it from a place of kindness and empathy rather than just, again, blustering in with logic. This card really does appeal to that stronger side of your nature, and it is asking you to really jump forwards with that new, refreshed sense of self. Growing confidence definitely this month, Aquarius. And as we're moving into the end of the month, we have yet another knight. So we just said there that knights represent the extremes of a deck. So we got the Knight of Swords, which represents extremes of logic and thought, because that is what swords represent. And then we've got the Knight of Cups, which represents extremes of empathy and emotion, because that is what cups represent. This is very sensitive card. It's a very romantic card. It's a card of imagination. It might sometimes be a little two-faced, or it might sometimes overpromise. So if you are being swept off your feet by a new love interest this month, Aquarius, just bear in mind that they might be overly trying to please you because they're excitable and they really like you. But I would take some of what they say with a little pinch of salt. Your emotions could be really running high in the month of April, and you might be feeling really passionate, really wanting to get go again. I think as much as you can rely on this person for your logic, you can also rely on this person for passion, for feeling fired up. They could be the same person. And wouldn't that be lovely if there was, an ideal partner coming into your situation who is both logical and honest, but also passionate and daring. It could be a choice between these two types of romantic partner. If this isn't to do with your romance, I think it's asking you here, are you being realistic in your family life? Are you being realistic about your business? And are you being realistic about your friendships? It circles back to this idea of the search for perfection and setting those goals too high that nothing and no one can please you. So it's not about lowering your standards at all, Aquarius, but it is about being a bit more realistic about what people can give, because everybody has their off days, and some time this month you might just encounter somebody who you really like, whether that's in a business setting or a romantic setting, who's having a bit of an off day. But I wouldn't judge their entire personality on that one character flaw or that one bad moment. So being a little bit understanding of everybody's needs, which you're more than capable of doing, being the humanitarian that you are, is going to serve you really well this month. So I want to have a look now at what your dragon symbol is, what your dragon message oracle card for your spiritual, energies this month, Aquarius. So the card that comes up here is Divine Feminine. What is the Divine Feminine? Well, every single one of us have a Divine Masculine and a Divine Feminine within us, regardless of gender, regardless of sexuality. This month it's asking you to tap into the more Divine Feminine side of yourself. Now, what does the Divine Feminine typically represent as a stereotype? Well, it represents basically being open, being receptive. I like to think of triangles. If we think of a triangle like this is a masculine symbol. it's a bit phallic, and it's pushing forwards, it's making things happen, it's inserting ourselves into a situation. If we invert that triangle, this is the vessel that is the feminine energy. It's receptive, it lets things pour into it, and it is open-minded. So when we balance those two aspects of ourselves, pushing forwards and then allowing ourselves to receive, incredible things might happen. So you have a lot of thrusting forwards energy this month, Aquarius. It's asking you to balance that out with being receptive. One of the best ways that we can all learn to be more divinely feminine or more divinely receptive is to ask people to do things for us. You know, allow people to help us in some way. We don't always have to be in charge of every single thing. So relinquishing a little bit of control might be scary, but some incredible rewards might come from allowing ourselves to be a little bit more submissive in the right way this month. And all that balances out so that as you're moving into the month of May, you know exactly where you stand with people, you know exactly where you stand with the choices that you've made, and you're well on your way to making a successful, in my opinion, new beginning. So there you have your April 2021 tarot card reading. Thank you so much for joining me this month and sharing the space with you. I so look forward to reading for you again next month. But if you would like to reach out to me for that live one-to-one consultation, I'd be honoured to work with you, and I'll leave that information of how you can do that in the description box beneath this video. But until we speak again next month, stay safe and take care. Alyssa.